3 videos in 1 week. You know I'm on that absolute grind for the channel, but Clayton Carpenter is the definition of a child prodigy in combat. His father put him into combat sports at only 5 years old, and he blossomed into a UFC-level athlete, competitor, and fighter, as well as a champion in multiple different disciplines. He has tons of accolades, but I don't think any bigger than getting the UFC contract back in 2022, but the future may hold even more big moments for the young, undefeated 26-year-old. And he looks to put a stamp on another UFC opponent this weekend. Today we'll have a look at the highlights of Clayton Carpenter. As I mentioned, Carpenter started in combat sports when he was 5, and it allowed him to build up the accolades fast. He's a multiple-time pancration world champion. He's also an IBJJF American national champion as well as world champion, and also has tons of different grappling world championships under his belt. And if that wasn't enough, striking-wise, he's a 4-time national champion in Muay Thai and an Arizona Junior Golden Gloves champion. With all these accolades in different combat disciplines, let's have a look at his mixed martial arts career. Carpenter debuted as a bantamweight in 2015 for his first amateur competition, and his career was off to a fast start. He TKO'd his opponent in under a minute. He was always a smaller bantamweight, so in his second amateur bout, he actually took a bantamweight fight, but only weighed in at 130 pounds. Nonetheless, he'd reel off 5 straight amateur wins, but would surprisingly lose his first, and now, as we know, only fight in MMA as an amateur in his second to last bout. A split decision loss on Iron Boy MMA 3, but still, Carpenter would end his amateur career on a win for Iron Boy MMA and a title, being crowned the IBP Flyweight Champion. With the title, he determined it was time in his career to move it pro. Now, in his comfortable weight class of 125 pounds, he would compete in Iron Boy once again, this time as a pro. He'd finish his debut opponent, Efren Ramirez, via submission in the 3rd round, and this would be his sole fight in 2019. He'd return to action in 2020 with an impressive head kick TKO, and at 2-0, he joined one of the best regional organizations across the United States in the LFA. He'd win his first fight in the organization, but his 2021 was one of the most impressive seen by any fighter in the LFA that season. He'd submit Nick Clement under a minute in what was one of the slickest submissions I've seen in a while. He rolled to take the knee and submitted him via knee bar. And then again in back-to-back fights, finished Rodney Kaloui in under a minute. And this one was actually under 20 seconds, with Carpenter landing his second career head kick TKO. After his massive 2021 MMA campaign, on top of getting the call to the UFC for the Contender Series, Carpenter was awarded the LFA's 2021 Submission of the Year and was also nominated for both Knockout of the Year and Fighter of the Year, adding more accomplishments to his already studded resume. Nonetheless, he would get in the octagon with a lengthy, tall Edgar Chairez in the flyweight division, and Chairez would try to bully him in the first round, looking extremely impressive. Edgar Chairez, as we would know, would go on to the UFC. Clayton Carpenter would rally in the 2nd and 3rd round, showcasing some of his grappling. He's one of the more well-rounded fighters in all of the UFC now. Clayton Carpenter, even though he's a Muay Thai and boxing Golden Gloves champion, he can take the fight to the ground and use his jiu-jitsu and top control to dominate the fight there as well, whether he is losing on the feet or he just wants to take it there. And he would showcase that skill set again in the 2nd and 3rd round, earning a unanimous decision. Dana White would recognize him as a youthful prospect and give him the opportunity at the UFC by signing him to a contract, and he would have a more impressive performance in his UFC debut, getting the submission in the 1st round against a UFC level opponent as a -315 favorite. And now this weekend, he's going up against a fighter with a 17-1 professional record. So let me know your guys' thoughts on Clayton Carpenter in the comments section below. He has a wild background, and he started so young in the sport that I'm interested to see how far he can go. If you like this type of videos, remember to smash that like button, subscribe to Combat Sports Central, and I will see you in the next one.